your girl International Magic, and as requested, I'm finally doing this channel for all the amazing dishes that I make. And it was really hard for me to choose what I was gonna make because I'm a fat ass and I love food. So I decided to make lasagna, and it's not just a regular basic lasagna, it's an Italian traditional lasagna, even though we're listening to Spain music in the background. And I was gonna cut these things and just show you how to make it already cut, but a lot of people don't know how to cut onions and carrots and celery, surprisingly. So I'm gonna just show you how to cut it. And this is what you call a mirepoix. Mirepoix is onion, carrot, and celery, and this is the base to a lot of cooking in the culinary world. So I'm gonna show you how to cut these items, right? Don't mind my nails. They look very ratchet, but it is what it is. So in culinary school, we started with the carrot. This is obviously a full carrot. You cut it in 3 because it helps your pinky to thumb ratio to hold it. So I'm gonna start off with this piece. It's very slippery, so what you can do is you can cut a small piece off, and that makes it stable. It doesn't move around. So I'm just gonna cut small pieces here. And this is so easier than just trying to figure out how to cut it. Then when you get to this angle where it's like a little bit too slippery, you're just gonna move it right here like that. It's gonna all be the same anyways. It's just trying to get uniform pieces. So you're just gonna move these to the side. You can stack like 2 up depending on how comfortable you feel. Make it smaller like that. And then come back over here. And you always want to have your pinky and your thumb tucked in, and all of your fingers tucked in, especially your pinky and your thumb. And then you use the back of the knife to your knuckle, so that's how you never get cut. All right. And then you have more confidence to go faster when you know that no matter what, you're not gonna get cut because your fingers are tucked in, and the back of the knife is always hitting your knuckles only. So the celery is a little bit tricky. You're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna ratio it out just like the carrot, finger, thumb to pinky ratio. And it's a little bit annoying to cut it, but I figured out if you cut it in half and then you slide it like this, it's easier to get a grip of it and cut it like that. See, just like the carrot. Then you cut it in half in the middle at an angle, and it makes it easier because if you cut it like this, it's really bulky and you're not gonna get even cuts. I'm just being really anal about this because I'm really anal about cooking, but you don't really have to make it perfect if you don't want to. I do, because I like everything to be uniform in my cooking, because everything actually makes a really big difference. So that's how you cut the celery. Onions. A lot of people don't know how to cut onions. I want to show you how to cut them in a way that it's super easy for you and you're not struggling with random pieces of onions that aren't the same size, or if you want to be a perfectionist about it, I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're going to cut both ends, not like this, but like this side and this side, right? It's easier for you to peel. You're gonna cut it like this, and then we're gonna peel it, which makes it way easier for you to make it happen. Guys, you catching this vibes right now with this flamenco music? I love it. It makes me feel like I'm in another country and not here in the cold of Massachusetts. All right, so this is it right here. Really easy. Now we are going to slice it 2 or 3 times depending on how you feel comfortable. I'm gonna do 2 times because this onion is not that big, and then we're gonna cut it on the lines like this. And you see how it stays together and it's not falling apart, and then that's how you get really perfect onion pieces. So I'm gonna angle it towards you while I'm crying because the onion is making me cry. And see how everything stays together? How awesome is that? I remember when I first worked at one of these restaurants, these guys, they would put interns to the test and have them cut like a whole freaking box of onions for the whole day. And I was like, damn, that's so up. It didn't happen to me because fortunately I was good enough for them. So they didn't put me through that test. But I'm literally crying right now. Alright. What this means is that my knife isn't sharp enough. So I'm crying tears of blood. So garlic. I didn't want to do the garlic, but Cherry said I should. So I have a lot of garlic here, like a few, like 6 or 5 cloves of garlic. And you can either, Cherry bought me this, which is really awesome. You put it in here and it comes out. You squeeze it out. Or if you don't have one of those, just do it the old school way. Take the knife, smash it down like this. And then from there, you can just chop it up. So we are going to start the bolognese sauce. Bolognese sauce is going to include the mirepoix. It's going to include ground veal, a pound of ground veal, a pound of ground beef. Traditionally, it's made with beef, veal, and pork, but I don't really want to add pork. I don't really care for it. Veal is, unfortunately, for all you vegetarians or vegans, if you were interested in watching this video, even though you weren't going to make it, veal is baby cow. It's really good, though. So we have cow and baby cow. We have some tomato paste that I'll put a little bit of water up so it could be easily spreadable when I cook it. Some chili flakes. I like spicy stuff. You don't have to add it. I have 2 tablespoons of oregano, Dominican oregano, and I have a couple of bay leaves. Very important for the meat. I have some wine, not some cheap, luscious, barefoot, whatever wine y'all be drinking. I mean, I'm talking to basically like people from the Bronx, but don't use barefoot. And we have some cream. I don't know how much of it until I'm making it, so I'll let you know underneath the video whenever it's ready. And salt and pepper. All right, so let's get this bolognese going. So I'm gonna put some grapeseed oil in there, 2 tablespoons, I don't know. And then we're gonna put everything in. You don't really have to wait for it to get hot or anything, because we're not really looking for this to get brown. We're looking for it to sweat. And what that means is we're trying to cook all the moisture out of the vegetables before we do anything else with it. All right, so I'm gonna just put everything in there. And this is gonna reduce by half because we're gonna cook all of the water out. And we're gonna cook this until it is see-through, transparent. All right, so the onions, everything is starting to cook down. It just needs a couple of more minutes. So in order to speed that process up, we are going to add some salt so that it can take more moisture out and continue to cook down. So you can put salt to taste. Now I'm gonna add the beef and the veal, and I'm gonna turn up the heat because this is gonna start releasing a lot of moisture, and we don't want the meat to like steam. We just want it to cook down all of the water out. So we're putting it on high. And this is the part that I can't stand because I have to stay here and chop up all this meat until it's done cooking. If not, it stays in clumps. And we want this to be as minced and as separated as possible. So I'm gonna be mixing this until it's cooked. 2 tablespoons of the oregano, which is perfect. I have some chili flakes here. I love chili flakes. I put them on almost everything, even my scrambled eggs. To add the wine, it's gonna be a cup of wine. And we're gonna let this cook out. The way that you're gonna know it's cooked off is when you don't smell the alcohol anymore, when you like take a whiff of it. Like when you take a whiff of your farts. If you don't smell it anymore, like strong alcohol, that's how you know it's cooked. But it usually takes like about a minute on high heat for the alcohol to cook off. I'm gonna add the tomato paste now. And the tomato paste is obviously usually canned, the ones that come in the larger quantity. So I put a little bit of sugar on top so that it kind of like gets rid of a little bit of the aluminum flavor from the can, which is something that I learned recently, which is pretty dope. Never really thought about it. It makes it taste uncanned. It's like a cheat code. And this is where this sauce really starts to come together. Like, this is where the good stuff starts to happen. This is where you can smell the onions and the carrots and the wine and the tomato paste and the bay leaf and the oregano. You can just smell everything. Now that this is done, I'm going to transfer it to a pot where it can be more, I can make it more into of a sauce, because this is just a bigger pan that I needed to make sure that all the moisture was cooked out of the meat. If I cooked it in a bigger pan before, then it would have never really cooked out. The water would have never cooked out. So if you have a big pan, a big pot, like a big wide pot, then that's perfect. I don't have one, so I'm just doing what I can. All right, so I'm gonna transfer it now and start the sauce process. So look at this. How much more amazing does it look in here? So I don't know exactly how much cream. I usually cook with my brain, like obviously I use my brain, but I just cook like with instinct. So since I'm doing this for you guys, I have to make sure I measure everything. So I'm gonna start off with a cup and a half of cream. Actually, I'll do a cup and see how that goes from here. So we're gonna just mix this. And look at that. Oh my god, this sauce. Now you can taste the sauce, because this is basically where you're not gonna be seasoning it anymore. Salt, if it needs any more pepper, if it needs any more oregano. So the sauce is pretty much done. I'm just gonna let it cook while I do the other part of the lasagna, which is the bechamel sauce. I'm gonna let this cook for a little bit on simmer and let it keep absorbing all the flavors in here. So we have the bolognese sauce working. You have two sauces in the lasagna. It's a bolognese sauce, meat sauce, which is meat sauce is a bolognese sauce, and then the bechamel sauce, which is a milk sauce. This is how they traditionally make it in Italy. So with that, you need a quart of hot milk for my recipe, black pepper, salt, nutmeg. This is literally the secret ingredient to the whole entire lasagna. This sauce and the nutmeg, like it adds a flavor in there that makes it addictive. We have some butter and some flour. So let's get started. All right, so you want to have this on medium heat because butter burns really, really fast. So we're making the roux, and what a roux means is basically like a glue to make a liquid thicker. So this is what's gonna make our milk a sauce instead of just, you know, liquid milk. So I'm melting the butter on medium heat again. You don't want this butter to cook too fast and then you don't really have that much butter to work with. So we have the meat sauce, we have the bechamel sauce, and we have about maybe like 2 cups of mozzarella cheese. And the special ingredient is the lasagna sheet. So I use Barilla. They're pre-cooked. Not pre-cooked, I mean they're oven ready, which means they don't need to be boiled or anything. And what I love about this is that when you cook with these, you don't have to add extra moisture in your lasagna, which makes lasagna trash, is when you add extra moisture in there, because then it's watery and sloppy and trash. So this is what makes it not trash. All right. Alright guys, so I had an amazing time making my lasagna with you, one of my favorite dishes in the world. Smash the thumbs up if you really enjoyed this video. Comment below, let me know what you want me to do on my next video. Make sure it's super important for you to subscribe and turn on your post notifications if that's how you say it. And I will see you guys next time. I love you.